On Saturday, November 2nd, starting at noon, Kevin Williams is helping sick kids by playing video games. He needs your help to raise $1,000 for the CHIO Foundation. Donate at extra-life.org/participants/347875.
Hey guys, I'm Jen. I'm a gamer, a photographer, and a longtime wrestling fan. Wrestling, especially women's wrestling, has truly evolved over time, and it's bigger than ever. I'm here to give my take on the world of wrestling, be it women, men, or whatever else is on my mind. Because if women in wrestling are being heard more, shouldn't women in wrestling podcasts be too? Welcome to Women Crush Wrestling! What's up, everybody? It's me, Just Jenny. Here's my boy, Adam.
Oh my God! Why are you laughing to start? What's so funny that we're starting this podcast off with the giggles already?
Because as I went to go do this intro, I burped, and I was like, "Oh gosh!"
It's becoming like a trademark for you.
I just can't. I'm so gassy lately.
You've just really taken after our good friend Priscilla Kelly.
Oh yeah, we're best friends. Jeff Jarrett, move over.
Get out of here,
No,
Jeff.
I still need him for my dog walking.
Get replaced,
Get
pal.
replaced.
Get out of here.
Right?
Oh man, what an incredible week it's been, Jen, for us at WrestleMedia. So excited we're going to have Nova on the podcast in just a little bit. She is going to be making her Rock Solid Wrestling debut with us at Rock Solid Wrestling's Dangerzone 8 event in Collingwood, Ontario, Saturday. So for all of you patrons listening to this, go down to the Collingwood Curling Club right now because you're going to want to check it out. Like, even if the doors aren't open yet, just camp out, get yourself some tickets, whatever, okay? And if you're listening to this on the free stream, too bad, suckers, you lost out. You should have listened to us and gone to WrestleMedia.ca and clicked the On the Road section and seen where we were going to be live, or subscribe to our newsletter, because if you'd done that, you would have gotten it on the Saturday saying, hey, we're going to be in Rock Solid Wrestling tonight, so come check us out. But you didn't, losers.
Give us money. All aggressive. I had 4 hours of training today.
Oh my God, really?
With Smart Serve.
I did the same thing, but I was training for
a job.
I was training for financial advising.
See, now
anybody listening to this podcast would be like, okay, so this one's going to be serving me drinks, and this one's going to be trying to sell me life insurance.
Well, that, and because of how intense that sounded, I can now serve you alcohol.
Oh, really?
In Ontario.
Because it sounded intense?
I don't know, just finance, right?
Really?
Scares me.
Oh, well, yes. I mean, it should.
My husband was a banker, so like if I have questions, I'm
really?
Like, I don't know what to do, help me. And he's like, okay.
You know, I can make it so that money isn't very scary anymore. I can set you up on a really great term equity plan that'll... Okay, well, we can discuss that.
Did you see my eyes glass over?
we can discuss that later.
It's like, huh?
But that's the benefit of having an advisor, see?
That's true.
You see, at Adam Incorporated, I'm just kidding.
Some cheesy commercial out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, we've already got those on the podcast.
You in a Canadian tuxedo.
How's it going, eh? You need to protect your ice hut and your equities of Putin. Well, guess what? I'm the guy that'll do that for you. Don't trust your money to that beaver dam. No, you think it's safe, but I'll tell you, them beavers, boy, they'll turn on you in a second.
I like beavers.
I do, too.
Both kind.
What's in? I was going to let it linger there, but...
I ruined it. My life, I do that.
You know, I wanted to quickly mention one of our patrons, our brand new patron, Val Bishop. She came on as a $5 patron this week, and I wanted to shout her out because she's a woman, and we don't have a lot of those, and it's really nice to see women are listening to our shows and supporting us. That's kind of... You know, this podcast was made for everybody who loves women's wrestling, but a little bit more for women who like women's wrestling because, you know, they're an underappreciated part of our society and part of wrestling fandom. So,
and she gave a lot of feedback too.
She did. She always gives us a lot of feedback.
Of the podcast.
She's
already.
Our family.
Yeah,
she's part of our family.
Fam.
Yeah,
our fam.
She's great.
I got you, fam.
And she's got us. Do 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 do.
What?
Sonny and Cher, I got you, babe.
I don't know why, but I was picturing that like like the girl on the piano down the street.
Never. Oh! You mean the Making My Way downtown?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, who is that? I don't know who sings it.
I want to say Natalie Imbruglia.
No, you are wrong. I'm pretty sure it is not her. It's Vanessa something.
Vanessa something. Okay, all right.
Have you ever seen the stubborn goat memes? Where the goat's
Stubborn?
like, nope. That's like me.
I've seen Ryan Gosling refuses to eat his cereal.
I am also that. He was born near my hometown.
London.
St. Thomas.
St. Thomas.
You know, Rachel McAdams is from St. Thomas.
Also?
Yep.
Wow.
Ryan Gosling's
It's like they
from
were
London,
meant to be on The Notebook, except
Right?
apparently they didn't like each other at all.
No. Because you can't... Londoners and St. Thomasers...
Oh, you guys are like mortal enemies.
15 minutes away is too close.
You're like, did you ever watch Corner Gas?
No.
There was the rival town from Corner Gas. I'm sorry, Corner Gas fans. I know I just did a big Canadian gimmick there. Just yell at me on Twitter at Adam Conta. You know where to find me. Or at WrestleMedia.ca, which we're also at on Facebook or Instagram. Check us out on social media if you haven't yet, yo. Do it.
Check us out.
Check it out.
Right?
What's it all about?
This speaks to the young kids.
Right?
We're hip.
I was talking to a young lady in my class today about the term bop. Because apparently that is a millennial slang term for song. You know how
Bop?
we would say like, oh, that's my jam. Like, that's my song. Apparently it's bop now. Like,
Wait.
ooh, that's my bop.
Like, bop it?
Twist it.
Pull
Swing it.
Yeah.
Smash it.
Brr, brr.
Put it in a 401k.
Wow.
That's the adult version.
They need that for young kids.
This is a new toy, teaches you about financial responsibility. It's put out by Adam Co.
Yeah.
Adam
Right.
Incorporated.
There you go.
Oh, geez. And then after you get a beer from Jenny Co., which is great. It makes you burp. It's a very fizzy kind of beer.
Jennico. Sounds Japanese. I like it.
Jenny Co Hall.
Jennico.
Jeez.
I'm in a weird mood. It's
We
raining.
are just, yeah, it is raining. Like 50 millimeters of
I know.
rain
I live
today.
near the lake. I'm very nervous for my hoose.
Well, don't be nervous for your hoose. The hoose
The hoose and the moose.
and the moose has been let loose. We've been let loose on this podcast audience, and if you've stuck around so far, God bless you. 'Cause
Well, yeah, seriously.
we've really gone off the rails, but that's okay because you know what? We like to have fun on this podcast, and a lot of fun topics that we're going to discuss today. First, I want to shout out Allison Kay. She's the new NWA Women's Champion, but also added another piece of hardware to her trophy case. She got back the Shine Championship.
From help from me.
She did not have help from you. What do
It's
you
because
mean?
I said she was the champion, because she's always been the champion in my heart.
Right, okay.
And then she was like, oh man, I need to prove it to Jenny.
So she did it. She went into the Tokyo Joshi Pro Show in Sapporo, Japan, and was like, this one's for Jenny.
Yep.
Dedicating this one to Vanessa something. And we got in there and defeated Miyu Yamashita in Sapporo to win the title. So congrats. I don't know if there's any word yet on when she's going to be defending the championship next. But, you know, we'll be keeping our eyes on it. It's going to be a pretty interesting summer.
The fun fact, she posted a picture. It said, drinking a Sapporo in Sapporo.
Ooh.
And I was like, I love her. And her pinky was up, of course.
Well, I mean, if you're going to be fancy about it, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
You know,
Well, no, I don't. I don't drink Sapporo.
then you're missing out. It's actually not that bad.
Oh, well, good to know. Yeah. I want to talk about Selena De Renta because she's taken on a larger role with MLW, most recently producing some episodes of their TV, and news is coming out from Mike Johnson at PW Insider that her contract will be extended for several more years, and that includes more office work. Now, if you just watch the MLW shows, you know that she's a manager for a lot of their big stars. Low Key, for example, is one of them. But she's also working as a color commentator, an official liaison for the company in Mexico. She serves as a producer occasionally, including their most recent episode, which has over 34,000 views as of this recording. This is a really big deal, you know, and I think it's a really big step forward for women in the industry and in the business. And at least I don't know a lot of wrestling companies that pronounce this so aggressively. You know, like WWE has had Stephanie McMahon, who's been the head of creative and whatnot, and Gail Kim has been a producer for the knockout segments, which are great. But, you know, we don't hear about a lot of this stuff happening in some of these smaller companies and whatnot. More than anything, it's just a really positive to take away that more women are getting those spots, you know?
I also like when, like, Spanish, like this, she's a Spanish lady who's getting these spots.
She's a
Like,
minority.
yes. Like, I love that, because it's not only you're a woman, but you're a woman and you're proud of your culture and you're making, like, you know, it's just, it's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, the thing of the heart of the matter is the fact that if you're going to be an international product, which a lot of the mid to even large size companies now have to be. You can't just appeal to a region or even a national audience anymore. You have to appeal globally, but also the fact that nationally you've got a lot of minority viewers out there. I mean, look at Fox, for goodness sake. They were all they wanted I can't think of his name now, for goodness, Andrade. They wanted to make sure Andrade was on SmackDown when they came over to Fox because they wanted to make sure they got a Latino character on the show so that they could appeal to the Latino audience. It's a big thing to appeal to a lot of demographics right now, right? So smart move from MLW's part. Let's go across the pond back to Japan. God, that was a really bad flight. We went from Japan back to the U.S. and now we're back in Japan.
Man, that's probably like 80 hours.
Like, why didn't we just stay in Japan, have a couple of Sapporo with Allison Kay before moving back over to the States? That was stupid on our part. Well, Stardom announced via Twitter that their scheduled matchup between Toni Storm and Bea Priestley on May 16th has been canceled.
No!
It was going to be up at the upcoming Korakuen Hall? Korakuen. Hold on. What is it? Korakuen.
There you go.
They said it in a very happy way. Korakuen.
They're always happy.
Who's they?
I just meant like, Japanese always sound so happy.
Really?
They're adorable. I love them. I used to want to be them.
Really?
Yeah.
You had like a little kind of like phase where you were like, I just want to...
A goth phase. Where
goth
I was
phase? But you were also...
weebo.
You were Japanese goth?
Yeah, I was a gothic weebo.
So were you that like little girl from The Ring? Was that you? Was that you in that movie?
No, because I was older than her when that movie came out.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm old. I had that on VHS.
I guess that's...
I used to fall asleep to that movie.
Really?
Horror films, man.
Let me tell you something.
They're
My
so nice.
wife used to fall asleep to Finding Dory and Cars, and you fell asleep to The Ring at night.
And like Resident Evil remake, and I love those. 28 Days Later.
You're a weird cat. You know
I'm
that?
really weird. Haven't you know this yet?
I'm starting to learn.
Jeez.
What would have made this match really interesting is that Toni Storm is the current NXT UK Women's Champion. And of course, Bea Priestley is a member of the AEW roster. It would have been the first official WWE versus AEW match before AEW even landed their TV deal. How amazing. Why would they cancel this?
That's why they would cancel this.
You think that like there was like, we're going to be conspiracy here where it's just like, hey, company came out and they're like representatives and people in suits were like, nuh-uh, you can't allow this to happen because if you do, our woman's got to win and the other guy, our guy's got to win.
Who's the Arnold?
I'm going to Billy Gunn.
Actually, I can
representing
that.
AEW.
Yeah, I can see that. Get into the chopper!
Ass!
Bridges out!
So reports have been circulating since last year that Toni Storm and other NXT UK superstars would have restrictions in their contracts which would prohibit them from working with certain promotions. Now that didn't seem to be the case here. Storm's already scheduled for another match at Korakuen Hall. It's unclear why Stardom was forced to change the card, but now she will take on Cage Sue in singles competition. As for Priestley, the World of Stardom champion will defend the title against Hazuki in a rematch of their clash during the Stardom Cinderella tournament, which, by the way, one of the cutest names for a tournament I've ever heard.
I hope they just go in and slaughter each other.
Like it's just a
like
bloodbath.
You expect it to be this like family-friendly thing, and then it's like all these like death matches, and you're just like, what?
There's just a constant soundtrack in the background of like.
Have you ever seen How I Met Your Mother?
Of course.
You know the murder. That song.
That's what you want. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Got some interesting odds for Money in the Bank coming up. Now, we're going to do our quick picks for Ms. Money in the Bank for all of our patrons at the $20 level, like Andrew Walsh. So thank you. By the way, he guest co-hosted with me on Wrestling Show this week. So if you haven't heard that, go and check it out. You get to hear Andrew. And we finally asked the question of if he is, in fact, wearing Mike Walsh's skin as a coat. And the answer will surprise you.
Oh, my goodness. What a hook. I'm listening to it right now.
So some interesting odds out of Vegas for the Money in the Bank ladder match on the ladies' side. Right now, the name that has topped the list to win is Sasha Banks.
I feel like that was trolling.
She's not even in the match. How is that even possible? Now, mind you, this was a report from a couple of days earlier than we were recording this, but even still, it's not like the participants haven't already been announced.
Mm-hmm.
So what the heck is even happening here? So some fans are expecting WWE to place her in the bank in the ladder match as a way to possibly mend the fences between the two of them. Now, she hasn't been selected as one of the 8 competitors, and according to the Wrestling Observer, Dana Brooke is Banks' replacement for the match. How do you feel about that? Do you feel ripped off that we're not getting Sasha Banks in the match, or do you still feel like I'm happy about this because Dana's getting her shot?
I'm happy because I want Dana to get her shot.
You think that's the better option?
Just I want to see what she can do, and then if she never gets the opportunity to do something, people aren't going to back her. So
hey, no, I'm not disagreeing with that.
That's right.
I want her to have that opportunity.
We are Dana supporters.
We support Dana Brooke. We are Brooks boosters over here.
We would sit in that section.
I would definitely boost Dana Brooke.
Yeah.
Banks rounded out the top 3 with a plus 340 odds of winning. Ember Moon is the second place, so I guess she's now the top choice to win the match.
Yeah.
Mandy Rose coming out in third. That's interesting.
That is odd.
Some really interesting betting odds there from Las Vegas. Of course, our betting odds are probably the ones you're going to pay attention to.
Right.
And to do that, we going to need you to go and give us a few ducats in the bucket.
Money!
Over Patreon. Money, please!
I just wanted to do once.
Someone else who might think that Sasha Banks is in the match is Becky Lynch, the current, what'd you call it? Becky Two Belts?
Becky Two Belts. I need that tattoo.
So give us money.
Give us money.
Tattoo money. Becky Lynch called out Sasha Banks again on social media. I love this. Come fight me, Sasha. What
do you say to that? Come fight me. Like, I say that when I'm angry at my husband.
You said it to me on the podcast a few weeks ago. It was the name of one of our episodes.
I'm going to blame this on being Irish.
Oh, okay, sure.
Right?
I mean, yes, I guess because Becky is Irish too. Makes sense.
But that's how we all end arguments.
Fight me.
Fight me.
Want to fight about it? It's literally that character from Family Guy.
Yeah.
Now, that wasn't all that Lynch tweeted out. She said, at one time, Sasha Banks was the top dog. She was the boss, but Sasha's fallen from grace. It seems like she can't hack it. Let's prove something. I know we've had tremendous matches back in NXT, and it's been an age since we stepped in the ring together. I guess Becky forgot that she...
right.
Did she not fight Sasha Banks at the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
Okay, then. Wait, did she? No, she fought
No, she
Asuka.
didn't.
Ronda Rousey fought Sasha Banks.
Right.
My bad. Sorry, Becky. Don't come and hurt me.
And fight him.
No, don't fight me. Don't fight me. I would love to again, but this is a whole different kettle of fish. This ain't the last kicker anymore. This is the man. I'd love to go toe to toe. The man versus the boss to prove who's the top dog now.
Oh, I wish that would happen.
Let's put on our conspiracy theory hats. You think Becky is trying to maybe stir the pot a little bit, maybe kind of shoot herself into a work here, or work herself into a shoot here?
I think so.
I don't know. I think this is a work into a work. This is probably the proper way. Do you think she's using this as a way to say, okay, here's the end, bring Sasha in and let me wrestle her?
Yeah. I think it's because they were the 4 horsewomen, right? So they have... They
got a bond.
Exactly. And they probably all keep in touch. So this is probably Becky's way of being like, hey, she's important. Let's use her. Like, I don't know who's sitting who out or who's what, but I feel like if it's WWE not wanting to use Sasha, this is a good way for Becky to be like, use her, because your top man wants it. Like,
it'll be interesting to see. Do you think there's a possibility that Sasha could still show up and be a part of the Money in the Bank?
I don't hope so, because the Dana Brooke, I could feel.
You think it's the...
She'll have that. She'll be like Lana. She'll have an injury.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, I can't compete.
Well, Sasha Banks might take her out.
Yeah.
That's what I think would probably happen.
True.
And we don't want to see that.
Okay,
so here's a question then. Let's pull this up, because all 8 women in the Money in the Bank have been revealed. If WWE comes to you and says, okay, you got to take one of these women out of the match, who do you pull out of the match? We got Natalya, we got Naomi, Lana. Is that Lana? No, it's Dana Brooke.
Damn.
Oops. Alexa, don't hurt me, Dana.
Hurt him, Dana. Come fight him.
Don't fight me, no.
Finish him.
No. Carmella, Ember Moon, Mandy Rose, and Bayley. Who would you pull out?
I love her so much, but it had to be Carmella.
Carmella's got to go.
Because to me, out of all those girls on there, right now, Carmella is the one that... She's good. She's gotten a lot better, but because I want to see Dana do something like that I know she's capable of doing, I got to pull Carmella out. That's
a good pick. If it wasn't going to be Carmella, I think I'd pull Bliss. Just because, I mean, I like Alexa Bliss. I think she's great and everything, but, you know, she's got another role right now doing the interview stuff, and she's doing it really well, and she's a good character. So, sorry, haters. Fight me. There you go. See? I can be tough, too.
Yeah, haters.
I can be tough, too. Hey, while we're on the topic of Natalya, she had a pretty interesting statement to make recently about WWE in Saudi Arabia. Specifically, she wants to do it. She said for women to be able to one day to perform in Saudi Arabia, I know it's not something we're doing at this moment, but one day I want to be one of the women to do that. For me, I just think it would be just so historical for women to make those positive steps over there. So there's a good question. Who would be your choice? Like, you got to book the first ever women's wrestling match in Saudi Arabia. Who do you put in it?
Ooh, I would put Natty as one of them because I think she would be a good competitor.
Yeah.
My goodness, who would she go against?
I mean, I think that like Becky Lynch would be a smart choice as well because she's one of the most popular stars.
Yeah, that would
Charlotte Flair could be another one that you would put against her.
If it's gonna be
Charlotte Flair and Natalya would be a great match
Yeah.
to like introduce people to that kind of women's wrestling. I mean, for goodness sake, two of the best technicians.
Exactly.
See, Bayley would be one I could think would be a lot of fun too because she's fun. She's for kids. You know what I mean?
And she's very good.
She's excellent.
And I feel like everyone's just angry with her for no reason and she's not being used.
Yeah, could be guilty by association too.
It could be.
Right.
You don't know. This is what I hate. It's all the rumor train and you don't
Choo-choo.
you don't know. Choo-choo.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know, but I mean, I think that's a lot of fun too to kind of sit here and be like, hey, this is a thing that happened. Becky Lynch is on the Money in the Bank poster. That's kind of cool.
That's good. I found the poster you talked about.
Yeah, the one in Sunrise?
And then my husband wouldn't buy it for me.
He wouldn't?
He bought me a record. So
you know what you got to do? You got to go fight him.
Gotta go fight him. It wasn't that one, but it looked like that.
If you haven't seen the Money in the Bank poster, go check it out.
It's amazing.
We'll try to link it. That's going to be Jen's tattoo with Becky Two Belts.
I would love if that was my tattoo, but it would be a lot of money.
It would be a lot of money. So you know what you guys need to do at Patreon? Say it, Jen.
Money!
You gotta give us some money.
She's my favorite character. I love.
We are having way too much fun with this.
We are.
I mean, not that there's ever such a thing as too much fun on WrestleMedia. I was going to call it the network, but WrestleMedia, we just, that's what we do. We have fun, and we have fun with not just ourselves, but others as well. That's why Nova is going to be joining us momentarily. Hope you enjoy it. Check it out. Hey, this is a commercial for patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca, where you can get early access to episodes of your favorite WrestleMedia shows, get full uncut and uncensored versions of your favorite shows, and more. Don't want to hear this commercial on your podcast anymore? Sign up at our main event tier and get these episodes ad-free. Want to hear your own commercial here instead of ours? We've got tiers for that too. Visit patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca and join the WrestleMedia revolution today. I'm very pleased to be on the line with Nova. Nova, welcome to Women Crush Wrestling. Thank you for joining us on the program today.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
I'm very excited to have you on the show because you and I, we go back. Normally when I have guests on the show, a lot of them are people that I've only known through wrestling. And
that's right.
And a lot of times I've never even met them. Most recently, the names of Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Mick Foley, DDP, and now Nova. I'm putting you up there in a pretty good class, so I hope you appreciate that.
That's fantastic. Yes.
But you and I, we've had a chance to kind of get to know each other a little bit before you had your first match. And I love that because I've got to know the person a little bit before I've got to know the performer. And the person is absolutely lovely. So
thank you. Yeah, and that's right. I got to meet you. My first match was in March of 2019, so we've known each other for a bit of time now.
And it's really nice. I'm really glad that you had a chance to go out and learn a little bit, and now you're having some incredible opportunities, which we're going to get to in a minute. But first, I kind of want our listeners to understand you the way that I understand you, who you are when you're not out there in front of the crowd. So tell us a few things about Nova when she's not being Nova.
Well, Nova, a.k.a. Andrea Benoit, I am a workhorse living in the city of Greater Sudbury, Ontario. So anything that I want to do wrestling-related, whether it be going to events or even training, I have to drive hours and hours and, spend a lot of my own personal time and money dedicating myself towards improving myself for this beautiful craft.
Now let's talk about that for a moment. I was going to bring it up a bit later, but you talked about it, so let's address it right now. You trained in London under Tyson Dukes at the Tyson Dukes Wrestle Factory.
Yep.
That's a long way from Sudbury, out down in London.
That's right.
So how were you able to facilitate that? Because outside of wrestling, you do have a shoot job, and it's not a job that you can just up and leave. So how were you able to facilitate that?
So I began with cross-body pro wrestling in Kitchener, Ontario in summer of 2018. And that is basically where I started learning fundamentals of wrestling. I would dedicate myself twice a month on a weekend. They would thankfully go out of their way and provide me some private lessons that way. But when it came down to regularly attending a school, I then went on to Tyson Dukes Wrestling Factory. He also began providing me some private lessons on weekends. But of course, Tyson Dukes is extremely busy, and he himself is wrestling in shows almost every weekend. So as well, because I was only obtaining wrestling every couple of weekends, my mind wasn't retaining everything because, then I'm traveling hours back to Sudbury, having to work during the week. I wasn't retaining all of the, all the skills provided to me because I'm not practicing it on an everyday basis like the other students are who are attending nightly, right? So what I had to do is as soon as 2019 hit, I went to my employer. I said, I know I'm entitled to how many weeks for annual leave. I said, I need to take them all in one shot. So usually, most employees spread them out during the year. I'm going to take a week here, 2 weeks there. No, I want it all at one shot. I'm packing up my bags. I'm moving to London, Ontario. I want this wrestling training. I want to be a wrestler.
Wow. That's dedication. I mean, you hear about people who say they want to be a wrestler and they want to do it. But, that really shows your commitment to the craft, because now if you have a wedding, if there's a holiday you want to take, forget about it. You've used it all up so that you could go get beat up for a couple of months.
That's very accurate, yes.
So anybody who goes and sees Nova now, and you should go see her if she's on the card, especially if you happen to be in Collingwood for Dangerzone, which we will be, WrestleMedia will be there, and Nova will as well. Go please get a ticket and go see her, because she really deserves to have your support after working so hard.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing everybody there. I'm going to be in a six-man. It's going to be Team Canada versus Team Italy. And I'll be against Casey, Spinelli, Tornado, and Primo. And on my side, it's going to be myself, JC Flea, and Travis McCabe.
That is an incredible six-man tag match. I can't wait to see that one. Going to be tons of fun. Watch out for Spinelli. She's crazy. In the meantime, Nova, thank you so much for being on Women Crush Wrestling. We had a blast. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
There you have it, Jen. An interview with Nova. So really awesome of her to come and join us on the show and be cool and everything like that.
Right.
Not fight me.
Although she could have. She would have won.
Easily would have won, for goodness sake. She's got training under Tyson Dukes. I don't want to mess with that, for goodness sake. But that's pretty much going to do it for us this week, unless there's anything like in the world of wrestling in general you wanted to chat about? Or
no, I'm good.
You're okay with that?
Yeah.
Right, we'll end it off with that then. Take it home.
Well, okay, I've been just Jenny, and this has been my boy Adam.
Reporting from Korakuen Hall.
That's
I don't
right.
even know if I'm doing it right.
And we just crushed it!
Yeah!
I don't know what accent that was.
I don't either.
This has been a presentation of WrestleMedia, where everything is wrestling and wrestling is everything. Here's what you're missing out on right now over at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca.
The toughest one I've ever run was the Spartan Beast, and it was about, I think, 27 kilometers in the Quebec mountains. And, you're going up those double black diamond ski hills, in midsummer time. It's 28 degrees Celsius. You're in the middle of the forest. There's no way of getting back to the main tent without having to run or walk a significant amount of kilometers. Whether you're hurt or you're healthy, you have to conquer it. You just have to push your body through it.
What's worse? What's a more difficult challenge? A Spartan Beast or Tyson Dukes on a bad day?
Tyson Dukes on a bad day. Nobody wants to endure that.
Want more? Sign up now at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca.